Welcome to the podcast.
What's up, boys?
Hey.
dudes.
All right. So, welcome to the Late Night Hearth. If you're new here, we're going to go around, introduce ourselves, and we're going to talk about our week for a little while. Before we get into today's topic, which is art, a super broad topic, we're basically going to be talking about anything relating to art. That includes culinary arts, video production, video game production, physical art, digital art, anything audio art, music, anything that has to do with art. We're going to be talking about it at some point in this podcast. So, before we get started on art, let's go around, let's learn everyone's names, and start with Tony. Tony, say hello.
Hello, I'm Tony. If you don't know me already,
Give us a quick introduction.
Of me?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I love making art, I love playing video games, and I love shooting bows and swinging swords.
All right, cool. Dan.
Hello, I am Dan, and I hope you enjoy the podcast tonight.
All right. Brandon.
Oi!
Okay.
Hey, what's up? My name is Brandon. I'm Explode Sheep's bassist. He's the drummer to my bass, the yee to my haw. And
Please stop there.
I was.
that was cringe.
That was cringier than literally anything I say in my entire life.
Yeah,
Brandon,
and that's pretty impressive to do.
Yee.
Yeah.
I tend to agree.
Brandon, I
Right.
thought I was your yee.
yeah, you're the yee too.
No, Yee's banned.
Love triangle.
No, he's banned.
Yeah,
Don't-
Master Yi is banned.
Anyway.
And
let's
you'll
get
always
back-
be my greatest friend.
Yeah, anyway, let's get back to it. Ryan.
Wow, friend zoned.
Ryan.
Hey, at least I'm your friend.
Hi, I'm Ryan. I am the guitarist for Brandon and Eric's group. I'm like the third wheel, basically.
Yeah,
just
but we have a
there.
fourth wheel that's not here.
I know, but I'm also just there.
Yeah, you kind of are just there. Me and Brandon improv, and then Ryan's like, "Oh, I can do that too," and then just plays the same riff over and
Wow,
over
way to
again
repeat
for
a
30
joke
minutes.
that you already made on my stream.
Did
earlier.
I?
Good
Was it
job.
live on your
Yeah.
stream? I can't remember.
Yeah,
Oh man, that's
Alright.
just scuffed.
So
We
Ryan,
switched roles.
got him.
Ryan.
Yeah.
No, I'm talking to
Hi.
Ryan.
Of course.
I hate you.
My memory is so good that I forgot what exactly we have to talk about.
Just a
Just doing
quick
Who
introduction.
are you?
Yeah, a quick introduction.
That's a good question. I'm Ryan too, also known as Shore Factor. I play video games with Eric a lot, and also sometimes I play some D&D on the Dice Corner with friends.
Alright. And
I'm gonna be
Dom.
playing.
Ooh.
Oh, sorry. I'm gonna be playing a Doki Doki Literature Club mod soon.
Oh, we know
Oh,
Brandon
God.
loves Doki Doki.
But Brandon would love to be a part of that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Brandon's waifus are not my waifu, so.
Oh boy. Oh, waifu war.
Yeah.
Waifu war.
Mm,
It's
Yuri #1.
yes.
All right.
You can have your
Dom.
opinions, just know they're wrong.
Wait. I'm kind of curious.
Actually, no. Sorry, number one.
I'm kind of
Okay, now he
curious.
doesn't agree with you.
Ra-
Now the waifu war.
Sure.
starts.
Sure. Who is your waifu from Doki Doki? Sure.
Talking to me?
Hey
I'm
man,
talking
what's
to-
going on?
Who is your waifu from Doki Doki?
Natsuki.
Yes.
You disgusting.
Yes.
What, the brat?
She's
The-
awesome.
I relate most to Natsuki.
Spoiled rich girl #5.
She
not
is
she's
not
not a
a
spoiled rich
girl.
girl
People from
at all.
I don't want to spoil
Okay.
anything, so I can't say it.
I want to say it. Is everyone here okay with spoilers?
I mean, I'm not
Yeah,
playing
I'm
the game
fine.
anyway,
We're
so
never
go
gonna
for it.
play that game.
Hold
Same.
on. I have a little spoilers thing.
I mean, I
made.
can just say
For
it.
Spoilers, cover your
Oh,
ears. It's
yeah, there you
being-
go.
Oh.
Spoiler. I have a little spoilers thing for the stream. So
Okay.
basically, Natsuki is physically and mentally abused by her father and neglected.
Yes,
Nice.
she's at least physically abused by her single father.
That's true. Yes.
It is.
I was
it is
thinking
a
about
very.
a mod Who goes more
very
in
heavy.
depth in.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
that's the mod that I'm going to be playing.
Mm,
Doki Doki Blue Skies.
okay.
Oh.
What was that
Uh,
slop of water?
That was me
I
drinking.
don't know.
Sorry.
Never play exit music, by the way.
Exit music for a film?
No. Exit music from Doki Doki Literature Club.
Oh, that song is great.
Not the mod.
Wait, am I good to take off spoilers?
Probably.
Okay.
And the person I relate to the most is Sayuri because she's also fun, loving, and depressed.
I was going to say.
Well,
depressed.
Natsuki's
my
also
God.
Natsuki's also depressed. I'm pretty sure they're all depressed.
Yes,
they're all depressed.
they're
Except
all
for
depressed.
Monica.
all-
Except for
they all are.
Monica.
No, Monica's depressed.
No,
Yuri
yeah,
number
no, that's
one.
true. That's true.
She's depressed because you don't notice her.
Yeah, that's true. So anyway, we need to get to Dom.
Yes, Dom.
Dom.
What?
Quick
What am I talking
introduction.
about?
Quick
Who
introduction.
are you,
Dom.
Dom?
I am nobody. Nobody is me. I am part of the universe.
He
I am
almost
made of a stardust. I am a star child.
he almost welded his
Dom is
hand
known
to his
for
other
having an
hand.
existential
Anyway,
crisis.
I work with metal a lot, and I make stuff out of welding.
he almost welded his hand to his pants once.
I did that
Almost
3
welded his
times.
nuts, I'm
Three
pretty sure.
times.
3
Okay.
times.
Tony.
It almost stapled my nuts.
Oh my god.
Where's
Okay,
it going?
anyway. So, we're gonna talk about our week. Or we can talk about Natsuki and how she's best waifu more. But
No.
she's
Yeah.
also... I am pretty... Wait. Are they all in the scene? Are they all 18?
Yeah, I think so. Otherwise,
Yeah,
Dan Salvato would be in jail by now.
Yeah.
Uh,
Otherwise...
They were.
Yeah, otherwise Dan Salvato would be in jail. And so would Brandon.
Cancelled on Twitter.
Yeah, they're in college,
So would
aren't they?
Brandon.
Jeez.
Wait, are they in college?
No, wait.
Wait, are they
Wait.
freshman year of college?
They have to be in college, and
Yeah.
no, they're
It looks more like a high school though.
they're juniors. I'm pretty sure because the main character assumes that Yuri is older, which implies that they can't be the oldest class, and assumes Natsuki is younger, so they can't be the youngest
Yeah,
class.
that's true. And so they are in college. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
They also
Well, they
when
better
you're
be.
talking about club politics, that's not high school.
That's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, that
Student
sounds
council controls
about right.
everything,
What
dude.
happened this
Yeah,
week.
no, because at the college I go to, there is a Democrat club and a Republican club. And
Oh my god.
oh my,
Ugh.
they both tried to
Wow.
recruit me. Problem is, I'm a centrist.
Yep.
So
He is.
so I sat there and I'm like, all right, pitch me what you do. And I found it hilarious. The pitch for the Republican Club was like, we talk about issues, we go in depth about things, we go out, we try and get voters to sign up to vote, we do all this, and then the Dems were like, same thing kind of, except we kind of, you know,
Better.
no, kind of like, I can't say the pitch. They're basically they nag on the Republicans. It seems.
Oh, they
Right.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's not
It-
surprising.
yeah. But okay. And it was very inconvenient because the way they had it scheduled is you had to choose one club.
Perfect.
You could not choose both because they were both meeting at the exact same times in rooms adjacent.
They
Oh
were.
God.
That is
Yeah.
how you start Debonair 2.0.
That is
Like-
how you start the civil war of school that you go to.
Like
I was about to say it.
I'm
but
not
no.
even kidding. And to be fair, by the way, the Republicans also trashed the Dems. Like it went
yeah.
both ways. It went both ways.
I figured as much.
Yeah, but-
It's not politics if that's not the case.
Yeah. But it's like, guys, come on. At least don't meet at the exact same times so people get to scout your clubs. You know, you're limiting who you. Anyway, we're gonna talk about our week.
Okay.
Tony,
Oh, dude.
how was your week?
That was pretty alright. Things are starting to get more busy. A lot more projects have been coming up in terms of in my graphic design class. There's gonna be A lot of work coming up this next week.
You learned Hello World.
I did learn Hello World, but I also did another coding project today. That
Oh,
I
how did
finished.
that go?
It went fine. It ran perfectly fine after some tries, and yeah, so it turned it in. I don't know what I got yet, so yeah.
Nice.
I also made pizza today. Went out and stuff. You know.
The culinary arts.
Yes, but I'll get. I guess I can get more into. I'm having a stroke. I can get more in depth into what I'm doing for my project. When we
Tony,
actually get to
I'm
the
having a
topic.
stroke. Me, what else is new?
But you also have the same
You
problem.
guys have
problem I do, because-
strokes?
Yeah, I get it from you.
Anyway. Oh no. Anyway, Dan, how was your week?
Oh well, yeah, my week was fine.
Dan was totally paying attention.
Yes, indeed, I was.
Just like last week, how Brandon was paying attention so much.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. What?
Around the
Oh
whole
my
Open
God.
Computer Club thing. but-
Oh no. I'm just joking with you this time.
Well, this week I just got a little bit of motivation to work on my RTS a bit. Got the camera to work finally.
Have you gotten
Yay!
have you gotten playable resources yet?
Not yet. That is what I'm planning on working on next.
Let me know.
I
I
just want
have
to get the camera to work first.
I do have 3D modeling experience. So
As do I.
So do I.
Got
Sort
some
of.
of that too.
well, apparently we all do. I didn't know
I
this.
have to learn it.
I'm currently at an
Oh.
engineering class. So.
Oh, that's fair. I took
Yeah,
it
me
because of video game making, and I was like, "This sounds neato," and then it was.
Transferring prints to CAD is pain.
I didn't use CAD at all. Anyway,
I've just
That is a bitch.
anyway, back
Well,
to Dan.
while I was also working on the camera, I wrote down some notes of for one of the factions, like just of basic units and their roles, as well as structures.
So like an organic bug-like faction that spreads this moss everywhere.
Not the Zerg.
I was gonna
Not-
say, sounds like
Not
Zerg.
yet. Not yet, Eric. Maybe, but not yet.
I've traumatized Dan with so many Zerg rushes.
Traumatization.
He just can't even stand making a Zerg equivalent. Anyway.
Listen, Eric. My birthday's coming up, and I'm getting some minis, and one of them is Tyrannid, which are basically Zerg. In fact, I'm going to paint them as Zerg.
Oh my god.
You should paint them as Zerg.
I'll paint them as Zerg and send you pictures.
That sounds amazing.
I will buy you the
I will once you're done with that, I will we'll bring it back up on stream and I'll show the people on stream who are watching right now. Let's get to Brandon. Brandon, how was your week?
My week was pretty fun. So I'm still working on a few music projects. I've actually showcased some of my music projects on my Wednesday stream,
Okay.
which is fun. I did a guitar stream as a little surprise for the guys, and now I'm with for you guys, and now I'm going back to bass afterwards. So yeah, there's that.
Nice. Anything else happened during your week?
Well, what happened on Monday? That's really nice. Oh yeah, Monday I had a test. That sucked. A
Yeah.
physics exam. Holy boy.
How was it?
Yum.
Did you say yum?
It was.
Yes. Deal with it.
Anyway.
So. Whatever, dude.
All right.
I think I did a pretty good job on the test. You know.
I'm gonna be taking, or I'm gonna try to take physics this upcoming or over the summer rather. So, Titan BP has resubscribed for 5 months in a row.
Yay.
Yo.
Augers.
Anyway.
Who cares?
Also, something a little more. I guess we can go to that later. So basically, I'm still working on some of my music projects. I'm still working on some of the stuff that I'm trying to do. Still trying to get school and work balanced. I'm trying to go back into the whole intermittent fasting thing.
Okay.
Cut a few pounds off.
I might follow suit, but I'm probably just gonna end up exercising more often.
I'm trying to do that too.
Yeah.
And I might have to be screened for ADHD, so that's fun.
Oh, you did tell me about
Don't
this.
you-
How,
don't
how are
you
you
already
feeling about
have-
that?
It's not fun.
It's not
I
fun.
feel like
I
it's not. I feel like it might not be fun, but it's gonna be necessary.
yeah.
for-
I'm gonna tell you this now. You're gonna be sat in a room with a psychologist who has a board and paper, and you are going to be sat there for what feels like eternity, and it will be probably
You will
around
wonder
5
what he puts on
hours.
the clipboard.
It'll probably be like 5 hours, and then you'll come back 2 more times or something like that.
You will wonder what he writes on the clipboard, but it will never be revealed to you.
It will be once they tell you. Yeah, no, you have ADHD. I
never
swear,
told
I
me.
swear, it's a test just to see if you can sit down for that amount of time. Like, I
Basically, it's-
swear.
It's not.
I'd imagine it's like if you're sitting down for that and you're paying attention, you probably don't.
Yeah,
If you-
exactly.
if you're not paying attention, it's like, oh well, yeah, you probably do. That's
So-
the entire test. Everything else is just BS. That's
All right, so Ryan,
Hmm.
how's your week?
My week has kind of been a roller coaster. It's had good moments. It's had some rough moments. It's had
It's
some
like a roller coaster.
crappy, really kind of like down in the dumps moments.
Yeah.
Um,
Share with us your week
I've been
of wonders.
well, last week I started on stream improvising a song to write down. It's actually turning out really well.
Good.
I'm very much proud of it. It's very much a metal song.
yeah. As it
Can I
would be
make
for
drums
you.
for it?
Sure.
Cool.
Once I have it recorded.
Do
Like
you
I
want? You probably want a double kick, and I don't have that.
I was gonna say you
I
might
don't
not
have a
I'm not
double
gonna
kick.
force Eric. Do what you gotta do, honestly.
Okay. All right. I'll use
You
my
can also just
I'll
layer
use
two.
my favorite instrument when it comes to bass heavy songs on the drums. Floor tom.
Floor tom, yeah.
Floor tom.
Hey, I
Honestly,
would say,
I-
Eric,
I-
you could just
ev-
layer it over on in
Every
like
time I'm
post-production.
listening to like a metal song and I see us, like I have these weird like fantasies, like it's just us playing the song. And not like the actual band who made the song. And I don't see you obviously needing double bass. I just see you doing drum fills.
Yeah, no, that's something I would do.
Yeah.
That's because personally, I don't like double bass. I understand how it's used and like where to use it and what it does. I just like the simple
It's
set.
not- it's not
I
your- it's
like
not your
the
comfort zone.
simple set. I like, in my opinion, when it comes to drumming, all the best drummers, they really only need like a hi-hat, a snare, and a bass drum. That's it. You don't need anything else. Like all the best drummers can get you moving with just those 3 instruments.
Yeah.
And even less. Like maybe just a snare and a bass, Like adding more stuff does not make you a better drummer, basically.
Yeah. So the kind of rough part is I started going back to work. I went back to Tanner's.
Yeah.
So I remembered why they miss me and I don't miss them.
Oh boy. Here we go.
The paper cuts how I didn't miss you so.
I never got a paper cut while I was there.
You're lucky because, well, here's the thing. I have a comfort thing where I need to roll up my sleeves.
No, I would roll up my sleeves too.
Oh, well, then I guess I'm just doing it wrong then. Okay.
How do you bag? deliberately drag my full arm across the top sharp edge of the bag
I
before I
cannot describe what
enter
I've just discovered.
it. Oh my god.
All I can do is put it in general.
Oh
Okay.
no.
Oh boy. Anyway, so Ryan, you've gotten paper cuts. Have you accidentally put lemon on it?
No.
Don't
I'm
do
not
that.
stupid. I'm not that stupid.
Wait, I just reminded myself of a stupid story, but I'm
Also
gonna let you
lemon.
continue before I get to the stupid story.
The crappy part about me going back to work is that I have to work weekends, so I have to. Basically, the message was, "Hey, we're making you work weekends because you don't work enough weekdays. We're throwing you back into the mix of teenage BS." Luckily,
Oh, no.
I have a way to drown it out, though.
Yeah, earbuds.
Metal?
My Raycons.
Not sponsored.
Not
Not
sponsored.
sponsored. Raycon, sponsor me, please.
Yeah, sponsor him. I'll Exoterra, if you want to reach out, I'll start making some exclusive snake and tarantula content. You know, Exoterra, I love your products. I have your stands.
Shit.
God.
You guys are all out here shilling for sponsorships. I already have one.
I
Cool,
technically,
Ryan,
Wireless, please sponsor me.
I technically already have one as well. I just don't
Undisclosed
use
fast
it
food
anymore.
restaurant. Sponsor Dom.
Oh, they already do with 10.60 an
Well,
hour.
I'll tell you what I'm not sponsored by. I'm not sponsored by Smart Food White Cheddar Popcorn.
Are you sponsored by Raid Shadow Legends?
I am not sponsored by Rachel.
I'm sponsored by water.
I'm technically an affiliate with a clothing brand, but I kind of dropped the affiliation after I
Nestle
realized
sponsored me.
that it was like, I don't know. It wasn't stuff that I would wear. I see like the quality of the products are good, but it's not something that I would personally wear. And if it's not something that I would personally use, then I wouldn't take the sponsorship.
Exactly.
Anyway,
That's understandable.
back to Ryan's week.
I've been playing Pokemon Diamond.
You said,
I
and
restarted the entire game, starting from scratch.
so I remember your Snapchat story about this. He said, and I'm gonna quote it. I lost 84 Pokemon and 4 gym badges. 4 gym badges! And I send him a message. I'm like, 4 gym badges is like less than 50% of the game. That's not the part that you would necessarily need to be emphasizing. I would be emphasizing the 84 Pokemon. You were so like you were pushing that's a lot of Pokemon.
It is.
That's a lot of the
You
portion of the
basically
deck.
do the oh no
fair-
anyway thing.
To be fair, I didn't know where I was in the game. Like I couldn't remember what mission I was on. I couldn't remember what city I was supposed to go
Don't you
to.
have the guiding arrow activated?
No.
The what?
The guiding arrow. Yeah, there's the guiding arrow on the bottom of the screen with the Poke watch.
When did they add the guiding arrow?
It's in the settings next to the text speed.
What generation?
I'll be right back.
Gen 4, and I'm completely making this up.
Yeah,
I
I
hate
thought
you.
so.
I was
I
trying
thought
to.
so. You know what? No, Eric. No. I'm losing it. I'm going crazy. I'm losing it.
Oh my god.
Who made what up? I'm concerned.
I was trying to get.
Ryan, stop.
I was trying to get Ryan to pull out his DS and be like, "There's no guiding arrow."
I actually have a DS out right now.
I should play Pearl sometime.
I'm actually
again.
playing Pokemon Diamond. while
Soul
we
Silver is
record.
where it's at.
Soul
I'm actually
Silver's
playing
where it's
Animal
at.
Crossing right now.
I mean,
Soul
it's not my
Silver is the
favorite.
best Pokemon game.
It's not my favorite.
Heart
My favorite's
Gold,
Emerald.
the best one.
Emerald.
Okay,
Heart Gold is good,
Gold,
but Soul
Soul
Silver is
Silver,
my childhood.
Heart Gold, Soul
Heart
Silver,
Gold
and
is my
Platinum are my
childhood.
top 3.
Soul Silver. Bad.
I wish they
Terrible.
remade Crystal.
Get out.
Yeah,
I
but
wish
they
they
no
remade
longer
Crystal.
they no longer do 3rd edition. Yeah, so
Platinum was like the last one, wasn't it?
yes.
Wow, I'm muted. I forgot I was
They
muted.
were going to make Pokemon Gray, but Black and White flopped because
Yeah.
it was a story-based Pokemon game, which if they were selling it to the older audience would have worked amazingly. Like,
Oh, yeah.
I know people who love the story behind Black and White because they were older when they played Black and White and they actually
Yeah.
read the story. But if you're a kid playing Black and White,
It's
it's
Nah.
it's dense.
Xbox.
It is.
yeah. I mean, the
very dense.
opening. I remember playing Black and White, and I would have trouble being able to even save my game because the opening like 30 minutes was all dialogue,
Yeah.
which is really really cool now to
Yeah.
me. But
That's
Back then,
insane.
you're like, ugh.
back then you're
I
like,
just
oh,
wanna
but now
catch
my time's
Pokemon."
up, and I still haven't gotten through the dialogue.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm going to break all of your hearts within one sentence.
No, you're not.
Oh.
Try me.
Yes, I am.
I've heard worse.
The only Pokemon game I've legitimately played, and I forget
say
which one it
Pokemon
is.
Ranger,
No,
I'm gonna
no, I
hurt
don't.
you.
I don't. I don't
Pokemon
know
Ranger
which
was a
one.
great series of games.
Yeah,
Hey,
Pokemon Ranger should continue.
Shadows of Almia is real nice.
Guys, let Tony finish.
I don't know
Sorry,
which one it was, but I've only played probably not even 5% of a Pokemon game when I was younger.
Okay, it's
on
fine. I
the
don't
Game Boy.
care.
Yeah,
don't
we
care.
don't care.
Yeah.
Not
No, I
not
never
everyone
really
had
had
the
the-
same
You know the
childhood.
disappointment
Yeah.
your father feels?
What?
You know
What?
the disappointment
Is
in your
it-
father's eyes when you do something dumb? That's how I feel right now.
Are you winning, son?
You're not my father.
That sounds like that one show. You are not the father.
Oh my god.
No! I'm
Anyway.
son!
Anyway, let's bring it back. Let's bring it back down.
Right.
Sure.
I was like not here for half that conversation. What the hell?
Sure.
are you
How's your
Pokemon.
week?
My week?
Yeah.
I don't know. I on Monday we had obviously we had the D&D session, except for right towards the end we were climbing a mountain and one of the characters decided to try and get some information by flying ahead a little bit, and he failed a check to stay flying. And
no.
made the conscious choice to fly out past the range where we could help him and then fall. And
Wow.
then create a mental link to my character, who his character is very in love with, and just say, I love you. And I don't know how I'm supposed to react in character to that, and I've been trying to figure that out all week.
You're supposed to cry.
But my character wouldn't cry is the weird part.
Your
Did
character
your
So
character
I'm-
love-
I mean, okay, so here's the thing.
I'm working on it.
If your character is close to the way I handle death, I don't usually cry when it comes to death. I get very solemn. I isolate a lot. I think about life. You know, I tend to become more isolated.
I cry when I see the
As a
body.
result. But if your character's like that, then there you go. That's how they would deal with it. But I don't
That's
know.
a good pointer.
I don't know if your character's necessarily the same.
I mean, it's probably similar. But then also in my week, a really good friend of mine that I met through the engineering program I do, her school told her that she couldn't do the engineering program anymore.
Damn.
So Tuesday was her last day.
Why was that?
I mean, the school just told her that they wanted her to focus on their schoolwork, even though she said she was already doing that.
That sucks.
Schools are dumb.
Yeah. And then, I mean, aside from that, it's been alright.
Alright.
I haven't done too much worth noting.
Then, we'll talk to Dan. Or not Dan, we'll talk to Dan. Dom.
Who am I? What am I? Why do I exist?
Dom, how was your week?
Unimaginable.
Unimaginable or uneventful?
I'm unimaginable. It was
Okay. So what happened?
Monday. It was a fine day, right?
Yeah.
I finally got my card back that I've been waiting for forever since I lost my wallet. You know,
Okay.
I waited 3 weeks for the sucker.
Yeah.
Then, Monday was fine. Tuesday, I tried to kick the snowman because I felt like it, and I basically just kicked a block of ice.
Are you serious? That's karma. That's karma right there. You just try to kick a snowman over.
Yeah, that is me. I am karma. What?
I said karma.
I know. I'm trying to make a funny.
No.
Damn it, Ryan.
I can't play the full thing.
No, you
I
can't.
can play that much of it.
Yeah. He knows his copyright
That's
limits
hilarious.
at least. Anything else? Are you gonna go through each day?
I would love to,
Are you
but
Go
I'm just
ahead.
I'm just gonna find something eventful.
I'm curious in the series of
Oh.
unfortunate events.
Oh, this series of unfortunate. All right, we left on Tuesday.
Yeah, Tuesday.
Tuesday, I kicked the snowman with leather boots, not even with my steel toes on.
Oh boy.
Oh,
That was your first mistake.
yeah, it was first mistake. Wednesday comes around.
Must
That day, I
be
have my
one.
steel toes on. I grab a stick and hit the friggin' snowman with it. The stick breaks. I get angry, so I kick the snowman very, very hard. I kicked it in the same spot yesterday, and my foot hurt again.
Man, he must really hated that snowman.
He must really
Snowman-
hate that
Yes.
snowman.
Look
I
at
just
his
like snowman.
jolly face. Stop
Uh,
staring at me.
And then when I got to school, I was using what's classified as a rotary tool. It's I don't remember the name of it. It's like a rotary tool thing that spins like a drill at very high speeds,
Mhm.
but you can hold it in your hand, so it's not a mill. I'm going on that to some 3D printer, some 3D printed stuff I did for an airsoft thing. And when I go to pull the drill bit out, I slice my thumbs open.
Oh!
Mm.
Oh, fun!
Lovely.
Fun! And enjoyable.
And
Oh.
that
A really
was
great
Wednesday.
time.
Thursday comes around, and I get this prototype finished for my project that I'm doing. It's like a jet burner thing. I'm gonna try and cook an egg on.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I had to go weld. You know what's going down?
You welded your hand to your pants.
No, I went through a welding glove into a table.
Oh! Oh! Oh my god.
Yikes.
Do you lose your hand?
No, I have both my hands. I think.
What do you mean
I
you
then went
think?
over. I then
Hands do not exist in my reality.
hands do not exist, but I shall bring the hams. Ha!
Okay.
Alright, calm down there.
And then I had to go down to the welding classroom because we have a specific one of those to go get some stuff plasma cut. And I happened to look at the wrong place at the right time at the wrong time and almost went blind.
Mm.
The right man in the wrong place can make all the difference, Mr.
Yeah,
Freeman.
yes, that's true. But Friday comes around and it's actually a good day because that day is today.
That
Yeah.
is true.
I ordered a bunch of snacks for me and my group mates because we got a successful thing. We lit it on fire.
Okay.
Nice.
That was a pretty
Okay.
fun day.
Nice.
Alright.
But that's it. That's all that happened. It was boring.
Series of unfortunate events followed by
Good thing.
good thing.
The unimaginable events.
Unimaginable events, yes.
Eric, why
Yes.
are you promoting yourself in like a bunch of different Discord servers when A, there are bots that do it automatically, B, somebody's already freaking done it.
Because we're about midstream and I want to make sure people know. Leave me
Now
alone.
They want to make sure
Fair.
they know about me and my stupid week.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's important. It's very
Because
imperative.
Eric's a sellout.
I was gonna say
I'm
that,
not a
Eric.
sellout. It's very imperative that
Eric,
people
you
know
know,
about Dom's
Eric,
week.
you give a good point, so I will give it a pass.
Anyway,
A pass?
I'm gonna talk about my week for once. I'm gonna introduce it without anyone introducing it for me because I had a pretty interesting week.
Eric, how's your week?
God,
Yeah,
why can't I just do it myself?
Brandon, why do you have
Hey,
to
Eric, how
ruin
was
it,
your week?
man?
Oh
You've
my
been sending me
God.
a lot of memes. Are you okay?
So
Oh,
my week was pretty interesting. I had my night class, which always feels like it takes forever, but it's only like 2.5 to 3 hours. And this one was cut short by an hour, so it felt fine. I had tests this week that didn't go well, but it didn't go poorly either. It was But most importantly, I have a sick snake, and I learned how to give that sick snake antibiotics via a shot. So I know how to give exotic snakes shots now.
He knows how to give exotic animals drugs.
I got very lucky. So apparently, I'm gonna talk about this real quick because this is something I learned this week. So apparently, snakes are when they get infected, it's very hard to get a culture out because they have a very strong immune system. So, antibodies kill the stuff quickly. and you have a tiny amount of bacteria or whatever. It's hard to get a culture. I don't know the specifics of it, but sometimes it can be very difficult to grow a culture from a snake or from an exotic pet. So the culture took like a week and a half to get back.
Because a snake is not cultured.
So basically what ended up happening is we got lucky, and the antibiotic that the vet prescribed was the same antibiotic that is effective against the bacteria that was found in the culture. So we were on the right medication already, which, good, But besides that, my tarantula hasn't eaten in a few months, but that's normal. I'm still offering her food. And my baby tarantula, I poked her into her hide, and she's now enjoying life in her hide. And I will see her from time to time wandering out to take a drink. That was my week. Oh, and Monty ate and is still being cute. That was my week.
Aww.
Montague Python.
Monty the Python. Yep.
Monty Python.
Montague.
Monty
Yes,
the Python.
That's exactly.
Montaigne
It's
the
exactly
Python?
what you think he named it for.
Monty?
Monty.
Bro, is that the guy with the big boy shield?
No, Monty Python.
Since
Monty
we're
Python's comedy
currently
group.
on such feel-good topics about nature,
You know
I'd like
what
to
Monty
introduce
Python
everyone to
is?
the bobbit worm and the box
I
jellyfish.
know what the bobbit worm is. Okay, so you guys know what the Nidus network is, right?
Yep.
No.
A bobbit worm's like that, but if the Nidus, instead of spitting out units, was a trap that your units would spawn on, and it just snaps closed and kills all your units in one fell swoop.
It literally sits at the bottom of the ocean, and it lays there and wait. And then when something goes over it and it senses movement, it will snap up. It will snap its jaws up, and it can be pretty much any size of fish, octopus, whatever, and it just drags it underground.
Yeah. Yep. That is the bobbit worm. That is how the bobbit
And then
worm do.
box jellyfish are equally as terrifying, but a lot easier to explain. They're just really small, invisible jellyfish that have a super deadly venom.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna take a quick break here. And once we get back, we will talk about art. So
Yeah.
we will see you
Don't go
guys
anywhere.
in 60 seconds. We are back.
Hey.
Hey.
All right, so welcome to the topic side of the podcast. We're going to start off with Tony, and he's going to introduce us to the field as far as he's experienced. So Tony, how's the art field?
It's fun. I used to do a lot of, well, actually I still do a lot of commissioning for people. And yeah, I do a lot of commissioning for people on Twitch, do some for people in real life. But what do I actually do? I'm a graphic designer. I'm currently in school. I go to VCU Arts. I think it was at some point rated the #1. Sorry, some asshole out there, mind my language, was revving their car and I could not focus. As Richmond is. But I was saying, it was the school I go to right now was rated #1 public art school in the country at some point.
Okay.
Um,
So how is it?
it's actually really nice. There's a lot of really creative people here. I guess one thing about that is imposter syndrome. If you don't mind me talking about some of the struggles.
Sure, go ahead.
Um, if you end up going to an art school and you struggle with some kind of depression or self-doubt, look, everyone's going to. It's gonna happen, but you gotta keep working at it. If you need a break, take a break, because you're not going to do very well if your mental health is tanking and not you're not gonna feel like you're creating your best artwork if you're in a bad headspace. So #1 thing, get your headspace in a good space. It's something I've been trying to deal with for these past couple weeks. But other than that, great school, a lot of awesome people. I love designing. I love doing it for other people. That's mainly one reason why I went into graphic design, just because I love creating for people and I want to make it my career. Earlier in the podcast, I mentioned that I was doing a big project with a group. Oh, that's another thing. You get to work with your peers in the curriculum. And right now we're doing a group project for a thing called convivial research. And basically what we're doing is we're making a bunch of smaller booklets about a certain topic. And the topic that we ended up exploring was music, which is another form of art. We'll get into that later. But some people are exploring how music is translated or consumed within a pandemic, how it brings nostalgia, how it brings certain memories, certain genres. Like I'm mainly focusing on grunge. If you've known me for a while, I do like doing grunge. Eric, what were you saying?
One thing that I really found interesting when I did a lot of art. I used to do art in high school, middle school, elementary school. I dropped off, and I wish I didn't. And I'm gonna try and gonna try and draw more often, because it's very therapeutic, you know. But basically, I found it interesting how all formats of art can inspire each other. So basically, um, a physical piece of art like a sculpture can inspire someone to write a poem. A poem can be uh, taken and inspire a musician to write a song, and then that musician can inspire an artist to draw art. It's like this whole circle of inspiration, and
Oh, yeah, I get that a lot
and
sometimes.
and,
That's
and
why we have album cover artists.
and one of the quotes that I remember when I was doing art was good artist copy but great artist steal. And I'm wondering if that applies to that net of inspiration where
Yes.
though you may be taking the 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 idea of the art but just putting it in a new context, right?
Yeah.
So basically, you're stealing the idea but making it.
Yeah, which
Which
is which is what art school normally is. You're surrounded by a lot of people with a lot of different styles. Some of them are similar, but within a curriculum or a certain set of classes, let's say right now, we we are in things called cohorts, right? And each cohort might study something different. Say my cohort studied like Andy Warhol, or this cohort studied a different graphic designer, or so and so.
So what I got from that is you're studying Andy Warhol.
No, let me finish.
He's talking
Bas-
Andy Warhol.
No, shut the fuck up. Anyways, no, I lost my freaking train of thought. Anyways, what I was saying was,
Cohorts.
yes, cohorts and what they study. Basically, it's like if they study that, they're going to eventually kind of reproduce their style. If they are given an assignment, be like, reproduce or make something that's Andy Warhol inspired, or you do studies and then you end up making something that's sort of similar to his. You're gonna have a bunch of artists now that are sort of like a carbon copy of Andy Warhol, but with their own unique style. Same with the other cohorts.
So who are you studying?
I didn't. That was an example, Rick. That was literally just an
So you're
example.
so wait, the studying a certain
We-
artist thing, does that happen?
It does in certain contexts. My curriculum doesn't necessarily do that. I was only giving an example of artists take things from around them. They have an artist. Each artist has an artist that inspires them. The ones that got them into wanting to design anyways. Like mine is Romain Tristram, and his stuff is amazing. He's an illustrator. My style is loosely based around his, but is also influenced by him. But I have my own unique set of style.
I don't know if I ever had an instinct to draw. I kind of the thing is I drew a lot of abstract stuff, right? So when you draw abstract, it's weird. It's weird to think because most of the time you don't have reference, right? And if you don't have reference, you don't have anything to inspire you. And all of the inspiration comes from
Yourself.
inside.
Exactly.
The things that you're currently feeling.
And the good thing about that is you don't have an idea of what you're going to be making. It's all process based.
Yeah.
One thing that we're learning right now, and one thing that I struggle with personally, well, at least never used to struggle with, is making art and not thinking about what is my end product going to be.
That was hard. I remember there was a project that I did in Intro to Art. And it was you need to write down 4 to 5 emotions and draw them, just draw the emotion. You cannot use any representative objects. You must only use colors and shapes. And that was so hard. But I was able to get it done. And Tony, you've seen it. It's that thing with the...
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know how to describe it.
It's the emotions painting.
It's the emotions painting.
My class back in freshman year, first semester, we did a similar thing where we took we took six words, and they were like corresponding pairs of words. So like chaos and unity, or rhythm and whatever, right?
That was a bad choice.
No, like I'm trying to remember.
Yeah,
what it
I know,
was.
but
so chaos, unity,
rhythm and pattern.
Rhythm and pattern. There we
Yeah.
go, or something like
Rhythm
that.
and pattern.
Basically,
yeah, rhythm and
like,
pattern are. I just want to quickly gloss over this so Ryan understands. Rhythm and pattern are principles of art. So they coincide with each other and they will relate to each other a lot, but they are not the same thing. And
Right.
and art teachers will emphasize these two things, even though they may seem similar, they're not the same things. So basically what rhythm is, it is a repetitiveness in the painting itself, not necessarily a pattern. While a pattern is obviously a repetitiveness of a single shape or the set amount of shapes over and over again. So like, I don't know how to describe it. Like if you were to do a painting where an infinity mirror thing, and the objects were repeating in a certain location, but it kind of twists in an area where it's not necessarily can be representative of a pattern, then that would be really.
Yeah.
I got that correct, right, Tony?
I mean,
It's
dude,
been a while since I've studied the definitions.
It's been a while since I've even looked at what the definition is, but these are things I need to remember, but I'm kind of taking for granted.
Right.
I need to try harder, I feel, but even though I'm doing my best right now.
Dude,
I
same,
guess
honestly.
what I had assumed
sucks.
was from the first example that you were talking about polar opposites.
Opposites, yes. That's what I assumed when he thought of rhythm, because
Actually, yes, it's kind of like that, but they're similar in a certain aspect.
yeah,
And what's cool about these things is they actually can apply to more stuff than just painting, i.e., like graphic design or illustration or literally
drawing,
any
yeah.
form of art. Take freaking Tool for Christ's sake, right? Their music applies to Fibonacci thing. Like,
yeah,
that's
the
thing we get
Fibonacci's
into later.
code.
Yeah.
That, yeah, I mean, it's pretty interesting. All aspects of art are. I honestly don't think people in general give artists enough credit, because it's a lot of studying. It's not just doodling, it's a lot of studying anatomy. How do shapes work? How does light work? Like, if you go up to, I think if I want to explain how light works to a layman, I would ask an artist over a physicist.
Yeah.
Right? If I want to learn how light works, I would ask a physicist. Personally, because I want to understand like every single scientific fact about it, right? Just my personality. I want to know everything you have. But I think artists can explain a lot of things based off of just observations, which is really nice. It's a very good skill to have, Tony. And I see you do this, in your drawings, and in your graphic design.
Well, I feel better now. Sort of. Anyways. Like, I guess in that retrospect, I got complimented on stuff I'm doing within my group. Some of them are a little bit more experienced because they're juniors.
Given one thing that's hard for artists, and tell me if you can relate to this, because I've heard this, or not heard this, but I've witnessed this with artists, where mentally you are not to compare yourself to others, but through comparing your work to someone else, you end up doing so anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
110%. If I had a dime for every time I've done that, I would be a rich mother effer, trying to not say the word, and I would have been able to pay off my college debt, which I have none. But if I was paying for it, I would be able to pay it off. By the way, thank you, Mom and Dad. I love you very much. I'm very fortunate for you.
So, yes, I feel as though when it comes to comparative analysis in art, one thing that is very important for the artist to be able to do is separation of self from the artwork, which can be very hard because you put your emotions into your art. But being able to separate you from your emotions is one of the best lessons that can be taught.
And with graphic design, what's funny is with graphic design that should be easier because most of the stuff we're doing is going to be made for the client, right?
Yeah.
There's going to be an end user. There's going to be an end product. Say like a publication or a T-shirt or a company logo. That's not going to have too much emotion in it, but it's going to have a lot of thought and a lot of process behind it. But
Yes.
and what's even more funny is my group was actually interviewing an artist who you know the Slack logo, right?
No.
Does anyone here use Slack for the classes?
I don't think so.
Really?
What?
Anyways,
What?
do you use Slack for your classes?
Yes.
Do you? It's an app.
What?
No. Anyway.
What's
She
happening?
she designed the logo of Slack.
Okay. All right.
It's basically Boomer Discord with conferences, and you have to pay for voice calls. It's
Boomer.
dumb.
It's Boomer
say about
No,
Discord.
it's actually
What'd you say
actually
about
Boomer
Boomer?
Discord.
Slack is apparently Boomer Discord. I've never heard
No,
of
You
this.
got, you got something
Yeah.
against
Hey
boomers,
Ryan, that's perfect
Tony?
for you, man.
I'm
You got
not
something against
kidding.
boomers, Tony?
No,
This is why you don't
Because-
mention Boomer in this
because
voice
mentally
call.
I am one.
All right.
Anyway,
00 OMR.
No, I am a boomer. Get it right.
Anyway.
yeah, she designed the logo for Slack and a lot of other stuff for a lot of people and a lot of companies. What she was talking about with the interview, I'm not going to disclose her name at all, but
I can just look it up. Can't. Said she.
No, but I'd rather you not
I know.
look it
I
up and
know.
then say the name. But basically, she said that it is a very good idea, and you will end up learning this, is to detach your emotions to the work.
Yeah.
Because that will help.
And one thing, the hard. Okay, so here's what I found hard from my own personal experience with it, is once I learned to be able to detach myself from what I was making, I detached myself from what I was making, and that I just repeated myself. You say, yes, I detached myself from art, which means I no longer had any interest in doing it anymore. I lost all my motivation to do it because the main reason why I did it was to show my emotion, was to connect myself to something, you know. And once I detached my emotions from it, there was no longer any reason for me to go on. And that was a huge revelation. It's like, well, I need to learn how to reattach my emotions to what I make now. Because even now, I have a hard time because I'm always thinking about what the viewer wants, right? In almost every scenario, I'm thinking, this isn't for me. No, this is for whoever's listening. This isn't for me. This is for whoever's watching, which lowers my overall motivation. Which I'm sure you get that a lot, Tony, because
Yes.
you have a client, and that's the sentence that you probably tell yourself a lot.
Funny enough, I haven't, because I like doing stuff for people. That's my motivation, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in doing so with my classes, it's fine because what's my motivation? I have a deadline, and I have a degree to earn, and I have stuff to learn within my graphic design field. Sure, I'm gonna feel like shit while doing it sometimes, but like I'm still out here trying my best, even when I feel like my best isn't enough, or when I feel like, oh, I made something in 10 minutes, but the class is praising it like it's freaking like when bread was invented, when bread and butter was discovered.
I mean, okay,
You
that
know?
can happen. I've done similar things in computer science, and we'll get on to that topic in probably half an hour. But for now, we're gonna move on to Dan. Because Dan draws, Dan doodles, and I'd like to bring Dan into the conversation here. What's your experience with art?
Like, I've been drawing for like a long time, but I've mentioned this in previous podcasts. I've really only started like improving my skills around high school.
Okay. So what's so with your current experience, where are you? Like you're self-taught, right?
Yeah,
Have you ever taken an art course?
I've been taking art classes in college. Yes, drawing,
Okay.
2D design.
How do you like them?
I like them a lot.
All right. Do you see a potential future for yourself in the career path?
Potentially, yeah. I kind of want to be like just like become a either an animator or a video game designer.
Honestly, I was on the same path as you for a while. I wanted to become an animator. I don't know why I stopped. I guess I just. I don't know. I stopped a lot of things that I shouldn't. Anyway,
Anything else you want to ask?
what's your favorite part about art?
Just in general, cutting down my ideas.
And do you find yourself combining your ideas into piano? I know you play piano. So will you draw something out of maybe something you played or other way around?
Potentially, yeah.
All right.
I just need to get better at piano first.
All right, I think that's all I have to ask. I'm gonna move on to Brandon and Ryan. We're gonna bring you both into the conversation.
Yeah.
Hi.
And here we're transitioning to music.
Yes.
So you guys put a lot of emotion behind what you play.
Mm-hmm.
Have you been able to detach yourself from your work yet?
What do you mean by that?
Yeah.
So if you heard what me and Tony were talking about, we were talking about how it is important for artists to be able to detach themselves from their work. So when they compare their work to another person's work, they're not insulting themselves. Instead, they are critiquing the work.
I guess um I guess from my case, there is some work that I have done that I'm able to critique and stuff because some and because some of the stuff that I'm doing, I'm trying to critique what I'm doing, mixing and recording wise. Do I have the mic set correctly against the amp? Am I EQing everything correctly? Am I setting the volume levels correctly? All that kind of stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and sort of it does this, and is what I'm playing sound like pretty good, all that kind of stuff. That's kind of where the critiquing part of it comes into play.
Okay.
But very rarely do I mean a lot. Sometimes I do critique the uh writing process, but a lot of the times stuff that I'm writing comes from places that in my heart that are so deep that sometimes critiquing works that come from places in my consciousness that are so deep in that, like some of the stuff that I'm writing from currently writing for some of the projects that I'm doing. It's hard to sort of take a look back and just sort of detach yourself from that, even when the whole thing has been born from like every inch of your emotional self. It's kind of hard to sort of detach yourself from it when your
Alright.
soul just kind of wants to cling on it to dear life for dear life.
That is a very dramatic way of putting it.
Hmm.
If I do say so.
Well, then sometimes it does feel like that, honestly, and you know, every single time I've written something, I've always felt something strongly about it.
I'm kind of the
Not
same
every
way,
single time I've
sort of.
written something, but every single time I've written something and was like, "Dan, that's pretty freaking good."
Yeah.
Alright. What about you,
I'm
Ryan? Have you been able to
see
detach yourself?
I do try to detach myself from some of the stuff that I write, especially recently, because like if a line doesn't fit, I'll scrap it or I'll try and like place it somewhere else to see if it works. And I'll also do it with like the melodies I come up with or the riffs I come up with. Like if there's one note that just doesn't sound right, I'm like, eh. And if I feel like I've been doing this a lot more as well, where originally, like when we were just starting the band, I would write like 5 riffs a day.
Yeah.
And they're all the same thing over and over and over again. I'm
So
just kidding.
so what I noticed is
Mind if I interject a little bit?
I want to
Um,
finish what I was saying.
sorry.
What I noticed when it comes to songwriting is the longer you take on a song, usually the more thought has been put into it. And most people say, "Well, duh," but sometimes that's not necessarily the case with all things. Sometimes
Ryan's
Oh.
now in waiting room.
Brian misclicked.
Right,
Okay.
misclicked.
So sometimes what'll occur is people let it sit, and letting it sit is a good idea as long as you're still thinking about it, right? There's a melody on the piano that I've been messing with since last year of June, and I'm still like trying to figure out exactly where I want to go with it, but I'm still working on it, and that's what uh becomes important is when you go through these trials over and over again with a piece of art, including music, and you're erasing, rewriting, going through it, trashing this because it sounds bad, but maybe taking it back up in another location of the piece.
Yeah.
Like when all this occurs, that means there's a lot of thought that got put into this and a lot of time and effort. And when you put
That's
that much time and effort into something, to be able to detach yourself is sometimes an inhumane, or not inhumane, but an inhuman action. Like,
and what I've been trying to do with like a lot of the riffs and melodies I write is like in the beginning, like I was saying earlier, like I used to write each riff as like a separate song.
mhm,
But something I've noticed as a change lately is I try to incorporate some of the things into the same song or into
mhm.
the same melody or section for like a solo or something like that. It's like, hey, like maybe this riff could work with this one or something like
Uh,
that. Like one of the songs I'm writing right now, Howling Winds, it's like one of the most melodic songs I think I've ever written. And I love it so much. Like I am the proudest of that song.
uh,
Like I find it hard to detach myself from that one
mhm.
melodically.
Yep. I feel
I
like
don't.
I'm feeling something similar with something that I'm feeling. It's just like, something that's also another subject that's dear to me is some of the songs that I've written for some of my stuff. It's called Mammoth Peaks.
Mhm.
And it's essentially it's a whole instrumental about, a place in the universe called Mammoth Lakes, California, which is just the center of where all positive energies in me just kind of align, I guess.
Mhm.
It's the place where I find the most peace in the world. It's the place where my parents met,
Mhm.
and thus is the
So,
genesis of myself. It's and there's just hard to sort of emotionally kind of depart from that when the whole sort of topic was born out of something that's um centralized in that way.
so I have a one last question for you guys before we move on to our
Oh,
next.
I was hoping to speak a little bit on the
Oh
topic
yeah.
before we moved on.
Sure.
Mhm.
Go ahead.
So I was gonna say I don't think it's quite the same, but the two things I had to add as someone who is my chosen form of music is rap. An important thing for at least for that is just getting down as many like things that you think can rhyme and just like lyrics as you can on paper, and then just you
Yeah.
can scramble them all together later. It's just having them there is more important because then you can think of them easier.
Mhm.
And
But
then
here's the thing though, like lyrics don't always have to rhyme.
There
right.
there are
I know
different
like
conventions of writing
typically
which allow you to still have a rhythm, but not necessarily rhyme. Such
Yeah.
internal rhyme is one of those things where
Hmm.
you're not rhyming the end of the word, but you will rhyme with uh the internal of the word.
Absolutely.
So,
And then doing a bit of a changeover, I also am a little bit into like screenwriting and having ideas. Like I have this idea for a show, and I've had it for years, almost 8-9 years now, and it's obviously grown and evolved. But
Ryan, I'm
the
actually taking a screenwriting class right now, so if you want to
nice,
talk to somebody about it, I can.
yeah,
Or
for
if
sure.
you want to talk to some people about it, I set up like a whole server with some of my
Mhm.
classmates.
But what Eric was saying was really interesting to me, because he was talking about how it's really difficult to separate yourself once you've been through so much with an idea, and it really is. Like, I feel like the characters, I know them on a
Mhm.
personal level, and like I know everything about them, but
Mm.
the reality is I don't. I just have been with this idea in my head for so long, and it's hard to separate it.
Mhm. Um. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, and when you have an idea that's like floating around in your head, you just want it to work, especially if it's been floating around there for a very long time. You just want to make it work. And I think, honestly, I think one of the ideas for me was streaming. I've always wanted to entertain people, right? In any sense of the word entertain. So that's either making people laugh or getting people interested in any information, maybe
Hey, Eric,
philosophical talks. But yeah,
can I cut you off real quick?
what? Yeah.
The moment you said, I want to entertain people in any way possible, Jay posted, guys, I'm thinking of creating an OnlyFans.
Oh my. Anyway,
No.
anyway, back to the tone and back to what I was saying. Um, I guess any way possible with limits. But like in the sense in the PG-13 sense of the word, um, I like to entertain crowds of people, making them laugh, getting them interested in whatever I'm saying, maybe philosophical discussions, talking about news, literally anything. As long as people are having a good time listening, I'm having a good time doing this. And for me, it's been ramming my head against a wall for the past, I don't know how many years I've been streaming at this point, 4 or 5, off and on, and now this year, or actually 2020, I decided I'm doing this every single week until something happens, and that's it. And it's been going pretty well. I've had been getting doubts, and it gets hard, you know. It gets hard after a while when you realize you're not picking up as much steam as you thought you would be, or or some ideas aren't gaining traction, or and then you start getting the self-doubt, right, which hits hard, which is maybe I'm not as good at this as I thought I was, or maybe I'm not putting enough effort in, or maybe I'm not doing this correctly, and that hits hard, and that slows down the momentum of everything you're doing, art, to the point where it can come to a screeching halt. And that's what I'm trying to avoid, is avoid that screeching halt. Either you learn to get yourself out of that self-doubt mode, or by doing it via detachment, or by any other way you know how to. But the way I'm pushing is not the only way. There are other ways. Positive reinforcement. Uh, um, you know, I guess negative punishment also works. So if you start having self doubt thoughts that you could flick yourself with a rubber band, technically works. Probably not as well as other methods. But yeah, I think self doubt is a huge issue, and I think that's something that was naturally coming through the woodworks of this conversation through everyone I've talked to.
Yeah,
Uh,
self doubt is something that I'm trying to get through as well. And sometimes you just have to just go in, suck it up, grit your
Busted.
teeth, and just push through it
yeah.
as hard as you can.
Absolutely.
So,
Something you learn
And
once
that's
you're on
really
the
and that's really the
platform for
only
so
thing
long.
that you really do.
yeah. Well,
Sometimes,
after
especially if you're very passionate about this and you
yeah.
want to do it, but you're questioning yourself, you just don't.
To be quite frank with you guys, to be quite honest, I even thought about canceling tonight's podcast and just reformatting everything, but I decided not to, and I like how this is going so far, so I'm gonna keep doing this for probably a very long time until broke. Anyway,
Damn.
I have
Alright.
I have one last question for Brandon and Ryan before we move on to Karmar and Shore. And
Shoot.
What's
the
up?
question is, have you ever logically written music? Not emotionally, but looked at it in a pure logic sense. Because
Well,
technically
yes.
music can be broken down by math, it can be broken down via psychology,
Good but not inspired.
in a science logic in
I think
a logical science sense. Have you tried writing music?
I think I have, because well, no, I'm not entirely sure. This is like a yes and no for me, because one of the instrumentals I wrote um, is very much technical,
Okay.
and or
How
it's like a
would you
sample.
define technical?
So it's like sweeping, tapping.
So it's technically demanding for the physical movement.
Yes,
Okay.
not so much the psychological.
Or not so much like the aspect of writing itself.
No, it's more about like knowing your movements on like
Okay.
the fretboard and stuff like that.
Because I know
Um,
with drums, right? I'm a drummer. Guys, if you
in
didn't know
case
by now.
you guys didn't know,
But
almost 50 episodes in.
with drums, it can get very mathematical.
Oh yeah.
Especially if you're working in fours a lot. I remember when I took lessons, my teacher knows how to count by fours. Like, he'll just go 4, 12, 16, 21, 28. Like, he'll just go up all the way. Like I'm like, wow, that's crazy.
Whoa,
um,
crazy.
As drummers need to learn how to count to 4.
yeah, basically. And when you're sitting down writing riffs, you realize how much things just break into segments very easily.
Yeah.
You're just like, okay, bass line, okay, hi-hat, okay, tom fill, all right, and you just everything, because there's no held notes,
Yeah.
so everything is just, what am I gonna do next, anyway, back to you guys. So have you ever written it by a pure logic, mathematical, maybe psychological, maybe like that scientific standpoint of music?
Because well, there is a thing called math rock.
Is there? I didn't know about
Yes,
this.
it is very much. If you watch pretty much any Rob Scallon video, he does a lot of like crazy tapping and slap stuff. Like he'll do a
Okay.
mix of the two. Um, what's it called? There are a couple of songs I would recommend to check out. Um, for that second, I think is one of them. One of the ones I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Where is it?
Uh,
Anchor. Yeah, Anchor and For That Second.
all right.
Those are very much technical math rock like songs. Not
Speaking
really rock.
speaking of recommendations, we have a
Oh
playlist
yeah,
now.
our playlist. There's a lot of sea shanties on them.
There's a sea
Yeah,
shanty.
we did a lot of sea
I
shanties
need to
this
put
time.
mine in there. 1 second.
Does anyone want to say why, or shall I?
Because Eric wouldn't stop singing Wellerman.
Yeah, because
And
if,
it's really
Worst
starting to
one.
annoy the hell out of me.
because
It is
one
the worst song because it became popular.
no, I listened to it before it became popular. Cool like that.
Ah, you're a hip.
That's a
You're
lie.
you're a she Santy was.
No,
She
but
Santy?
You're
Santy?
she.
Listen,
Sea
nothing about that
shanty.
sentence made any sense, so we're just gonna leave it in the past.
Yeah,
Hipster.
it's
A
done. It's
sea
done.
shanty hipster. Imagine saying
Alright.
that 30 times in a row.
Sea shanty hipster. Sea shanty.
Sea shanty
Yes.
hipster.
God, that is hard. I'll give you
Sea
that.
shanty hipster.
Um,
She
So,
freaking heck.
basically, once the song is stuck in my head and I know how to sing it, if I stop, like if I am either hard paying attention on something, I will just start singing it, no matter what. Like if I start dead focusing on something, I will just start singing the song that I recently learned how to sing. I don't know. It's Anyway, I want Brandon's answer for this question.
You mean mathematical stuff?
Yes, the
Logical
the
song
scientific side of music. This could technically be.
I mean,
technology's
well,
one.
I've listened to a lot of scientific music, and I've listened to a lot of them.
No, have you ever
progressive.
written it?
Written progressive music. Well, I mean, I tried writing with odd time signatures. I've tried branching out a little bit of comfort zone a little bit and trying to do something a little bit more technical, and a
Okay.
little bit,
Okay,
and just
Brandon
kind of
has-
playing around with some of the rules of music. And although I have never written any songs about quadratic equation or taking the integral of x squared plus 2x plus the natural log of
Brandon, I think you
2x plus 4.
misunderstand. I think you misunderstand the question.
I'm just joking there for a second.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have played around with some progressive themes and some not emotional stuff. But most of the stuff that I've written, it's just music is just kind of the way of like sort of expressing some stuff that's even a little bit deeper than just a psychological brain.
Okay.
It's something a little bit deeper than that, and and sometimes it's a little bit hard. It's and making stuff progressive stuff like that is sometimes pretty fun, but it's not really satisfying the need for me to sort of write, to sort of bleed out all the stuff that's really going on within me.
All right.
So,
So I'm
there's part of
going
that.
to move on to Karmar and Shore here, and I'm going to
What?
ask them about the engineering side of art. How do you structurally make something?
What you need to know is that your guys' dream is our nightmare.
I mean, that's fair. That's fair.
You're
That
not
is
wrong.
You want
that
to build
is
a
to an
lopsided
extent true.
skyscraper, we have to build it, and it's pain. Design simpler stuff next time.
I'd
Okay,
argue the
so
opposite
Shore.
for me.
Sure.
I'm not super deep into engineering, and obviously, getting to the final product is going to be pain, blood, sweat, and tears. But I would argue that that's a lot of art.
Yeah.
It just so happens that engineering has to also have the thing function.
Yeah.
Um,
I think functional art is not necessarily engineering, but it is. It's not the same, right?
Right.
When it comes to engineering, the main focus is the function, but when it comes to functional art, the main focus is the art. And functional art to me is it just looks so cool because it does something and it looks good.
But the
right.
But besides that, anyway, back to engineering. What is the process of taking a concept in engineering and then putting it on paper, as opposed to just a drawing or just an abstract idea?
What do you like? You mean like the process of getting funding for that stuff too, or do you just mean
No,
something
just
else?
the process of getting it into like the software and into a computer engineering software.
Personally, I would make a rough sketch, a very super duper rough sketch,
Mhm.
and try and proportion that thing and put rudimentary dimensions on there.
Okay.
Once you have that rough sketch, you open up your CAD and start putting it in there piece by piece. Take your time, because as my teacher once said, the only perfect part is in CAD.
Yeah, that is incredibly
Absolutely
true.
true. It's gonna be out plus or minus 1,000s. It's gonna be in plus or minus 1,000s. As long as you have the correct tolerances, you're fine.
Yep.
Okay.
I think that's a very important thing because some consumers when ordering a custom part might want incredibly tight
Oh.
tolerances without realizing that
Oh.
as the tightness of the tolerance increases, the cost exponentially increases as well.
Oh yeah,
So it's
definitely.
not
Getting
feasible
more
past a
precise
certain point.
tools. Not to mention what materials. Not
Right.
to mention the materials you guys want your stuff made out of. Like, if you need a part, right, that needs to be welded, and you put on the print 2021 series of aluminum, we cannot weld that together. You gotta put the right series of metal on there, man.
All right.
Mhm.
So we've went from the concept side of art and just the pure emotional art all the way to the mathematical side of art where it applies a function, right? So
Yes.
I guess you already answered the question of how do you take just the drawing and put it into CAD piece by piece very carefully.
Mhm.
So what would be the
I
next
think
step?
I think the thing that kind of got glossed over there is obviously the creation of the pieces
Mhm.
can be very difficult at times. It depends on the complexity of like how close the piece is to a basic 3D shape and what needs to be done to get it there. If it's just
Yeah.
you've got a series of holes that need to be made in a plate to distance two pieces away from each other, that's going to be a lot easier than like some sort of complex mold that you have to create and then is going to have to be machined.
For that, you want to use CNC.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so that brings it to
To
me, I
you.
guess. So
No pressure.
from my experience with art was always an interesting. I when I was a kid, I was forced to do music. I would always draw, by the way. I would always draw as a kid in my off time. I would always have fun drawing. And my family is split in two. You have the musicians of the family and you have the artists of the family, right? And I was forced to play an instrument, and I didn't like the instrument that I was forced to play. I was forced to play trumpet, um, and 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 I didn't like being forced to do anything, you know. So I never really practiced. I didn't find it fun. So my father even told me, he's like, "All right, you're bad at music. Don't try it. Just go back to art, whatever." Right? Which, ironically enough, I now do music and I hardly ever draw anymore.
He did it despite him.
No, I didn't. I did it because some random guy in senior year came up to me and said, "Can you drum for us?" And I'm like, "I guess. Can't be that hard, can
And
it?"
then we fired him.
Then
Few
we
weeks later.
fired his ass.
Yeah.
Fired.
So
You're fired.
so basically I got into the drawing side of art, and when I got into the drawing side of art, it was so fun. I was able to express myself. I understood what I was drawing, and I knew how to basically mimic reality onto paper, in you know in some sense of the word. Um, and then I met video games, and I decided one day I want to know how to make that. I want to know how to make video games. Video games were always there for me as a kid. They were basically an escapism tool at some points, and I want to make someone out there happy with what I make, right? And video games made me happy, so I want to make someone else happy with video games. So I started learning how to code, and when I got into computer science, was around the same time I got into drumming, right? Or I got into computer science I think a year or two earlier, but when I really got into computer science was probably only half year earlier than drumming. Um, and I made the realization that music and computer science are the combinations of almost the exact same things, just with different ratios. Which is computer science is the combination of mathematics, science, and art. And music is the combination of mathematics, science, and art. And it is just with different ratios. And I think that was one of the most mind-boggling things to me is that I was drawn to the exact same thing with different ratios. So that's
say something.
yeah.
I actually was in the same situation as you, where I used to do a lot of drawing. Like I was a cartoon artist. Like if you go back to last week's episode where I sent you guys the pictures of the Power Ranger drawings I made, obviously I didn't really, I mean, I freehanded them, but I used a reference of
I
a
mean,
picture.
references are allowed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but you know, that was my thing. Like, I would draw superheroes or comic book
Mhm.
stuff, and I used to be really good at it. But then once I picked up the guitar, now obviously I went back and forth a little bit. When I was just beginning on the guitar, I was still more into like the whole drawing thing. I was taking regular art classes in high
Brian,
school.
why don't you make guitar-related cartoons?
I tried, they're not good.
Everyone starts out as not good. You can keep pushing
I
yourself.
think
Make them good.
I think one of the biggest fears about me drawing, or biggest things about me drawing again, is the fear that I'm going to have to start over. Because I was getting really good. Or I would
Same.
like to think that I was getting really good. Like give you an example. I went to, I mean, it's a community college, but I went to a college and I showed them my portfolio and they were like, yeah, no, you're not going to the intro course. You're going like a step or two above it. We're not
Yeah.
putting you in intro. And same thing happened in AM. Same thing happened in high school, where I went to the teacher of the art courses and I said, hey, can I get into an art class? I haven't taken art in the school yet, but I've taken one at my old high school. And she said, oh yeah, no, we can put you in AP. And I'm like, what?
You're like,
Bruh.
excuse him, what?
So I was getting really good, but then when I was in the AP class, I decided to do a new format of art, which was pixel animation. I wasn't good at it, and it's not my teacher's fault. My teacher, they didn't learn animation, and the class wasn't really about animation, but she allowed it anyway. And I wish instead I drew. I really wish instead I decided to draw, because I would have gotten so much better at what I was able to do. But it's just been so long that I fear that I'm gonna be very bad. You know?
You know what? I just kind of realized
What?
that nobody really knew I was an artist in high school. So my teachers never saw what I did outside of my graphic design class, which back then wasn't even like that good. I
Mhm.
mean, I've gotten better, especially from when I first started. But like, there was a guy who did a logo for the school, and you know it was cool and all. But I felt like I could have done something better. But like, you ever get that feeling where you just don't feel like you're recognized in a school, but you do all this stuff and you're like actually good at it, you know?
I
Sorry if I'm off topic, by the way.
I don't.
I
No, it's fine. I don't know that feeling because I feel I have that constant feeling of I don't belong here. I don't know what I'm
Oh.
doing.
No, same.
Yeah. What am I doing in this field? Like I've been thinking about switching majors. To a harder major, or some would argue a harder major, but it's basically more time in school. Everyone's thinking about switching to becoming a vet. And because throughout my entire life I've cared for animals, and I loved caring for animals, and specifically an exotics vet because they are so hard to find. Like, I have one that's like 20 minutes away from me, or 40 rather, or no, 20. There's one 20 minutes away from me, and then the next one is like an hour and a half. They're scarce. So I was like, what if I fill the gap and am able to prescribe my snakes with my own stuff? If they get sick. Hopefully they don't get sick. Anyway. Any last ending notes before we end the stream?
We forgot about video games.
We forgot about video games? We talked about video games.
We just talked about video games.
Oh well, in video games, I might as well just interject about
I was talking
how
about
certain games are art
Yeah, no.
within themselves.
You were talking about
I think
that.
that's an argument that's already been made, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wasn't paying attention. All right.
I wanted to
continue on.
talk a little bit,
Brandon fell asleep.
if it's okay,
Yeah, go ahead.
about like just traditional writing, sort of, I guess.
Oh yeah.
So this is a little bit about writing, and it's a little bit about Dungeons and Dragons, which is, also a combination of improv and roleplay to an extent. I think that for me, it's definitely at least been a really big escape for me throughout the years, and for me, Dungeons and Dragons, writing, roleplay, all of it, it's whatever you want it to be. If you want to have a bunch of friends get together and have it be a joke thing where you guys are all just having a bundle of laughs, it can be that. Or you can, tackle serious issues like, war, the concept of like legacy or love and all of that, and you can capture those moments, but it's all whatever you want it to be, and I think that's beautiful.
You can also have like a mix of the two. Like you can have like super serious moments in a session, or you can just screw around at the same time in the same session.
Absolutely.
I just want to mention something because you mentioned the concept of legacy, and before this we were on video games. I wanted to talk about this.
Yeah, of course.
Legends of Runeterra came out with a new expansion. It's the Shuriman expansion, but they included a character called, and in Kindred's deck there is a card which is basically a turkey vulture, but the quote on it says, "I fear not for my first death, but my second." And what it's talking about is the second death where everyone forgets you. You no longer are remembered anymore. And that's a scary concept if you really think about it, where one day you will be totally forgotten. There's nothing in your control that you can do. One day you won't be remembered at all. That's basically it. And it's a weird concept to think about, but does that second death hurt more than the first one? Because
you'd be dead.
I mean, no,
I think
but
I think it only hurts in contemplation.
Yeah, exactly. Like, because I think I have well accepted death. I know that I'm not going to be around forever, and I do feel as though I'm going to. I feel as though I'm racing towards the end, where I'm trying to get everything done before I run out of time. But that's, that's something. That's something that certain that can happen. And I know that one day I'll slow down and realize that it was all for nothing.
Because then you're gonna realize you're bored and have nothing to do.
Yeah, I pushed everyone away, and I'm a cranky old man. But yeah, that second death aspect, the legacy that you were talking about, it intrigues me.
Yeah.
It intrigues me a lot.
Well, I hope that when I start running the legacy campaign, that it'll live up to your standards. I have a lot of ideas, so hopefully it'll be good.
Maybe I'll join it, but I know there's certain people that might not like my.
Yeah, I mean, and it'll all be up on YouTube because I'm gonna get YouTube going soon, so it'll definitely be available to watch.
So we got a little philosophical there, but still kind of stayed on topic a little bit.
Damn.
So any final words before we do our outro?
Go check out some of our channels.
All right, go ahead, do your plugs.
I am Leftover Boomer 2001
Titan BP and Titan Music on YouTube.
and Titan BP on Twitch.
Haven't made a new channel yet.
And Ryan.
All right, cool.
I guess keep creating. Oops, sorry.
You can find me streaming on every single Saturday at Shore Factor, twitch.tv/Shore Factor. You can also find me playing D&D on the Dice Corner, and I sometimes stream sporadically because I feel like streaming, but those are the main days that I do streaming.
All right,
You can find me nowhere currently.
You don't exist.
Tony.
No.
You all your imagination.
Yeah,
You're
he's
the
just
go-
a
you're the
figment
ghost
our
of-
imagination.
No, he's the ghost of Harvard past.
Oh my god, the ghost of Harvard past.
Oh my god.
No.
Anyway, Tony.
Now, you would normally be able to find me on Tonster46346 on Twitch TV, but I don't stream anymore, so sorry, I can't say that. But what I can say is, keep your head up, keep creating, keep doing what you love. You're going to.
I thought
you're
you were
gonna
about to
make it.
plug a new channel. I'm super excited.
Dude, I don't stream anymore. What do you
Dang.
mean?
You literally went, I guess keep, and then you were like, oh, sorry. And I'm like, oh, he has a new channel. That's so exciting. But no.
I knew where that was going. That's why I didn't.
creating,
That's
but
why I didn't apologize for
realize I was
interrupting.
Sure.
All right.
Anyway,
All right, I'm gonna do the outro, guys.
All right.
Thank you all for watching. If you liked, like. If you dislike, dislike. Remember to subscribe, comment down below, and you will always have a home right here at the Hearth. See you next time.